You may be aware of a growing phenomenon that has been plaguing the American servers, this being the pacifist builds. More and more often, we see new players, and now more frequently, casual players, using this build in their playthrough. You may have seen this phenomenon across many servers, but on the American servers, this playstyle has had dire consequences for the player base. The pacifist build is much weaker than the classic landowner build, which capitalizes on high damage and high stamina with a built-in charisma boost. The pacifist build, however, has low damage, low health, and no proficiency with firearms class of weapons, making this build pretty much useless, especially in the current server meta. So why, might you ask, would anybody choose to utilize the pacifist build? The answer lies within the modern in-game economy. With weapon prices soaring and the many nerfs to the Gunslinger NASCAR Enjoyer build, as well as nerfs to players traveling in the California region of the game. With the devs shitting on most popular builds, it would make some sense for newer or less intelligent players to see the pacifist build as a viable option for their playthrough. However, this choice leads such players down a dark path. The perk known as McCarthyism is a very tantalizing option for pacifist builder users, as it grants a temporary boost in charisma and luck, but is not viable late game due to its temporary effect and its debuff, known as the US Supreme Court. Also, pacifist builds are much weaker for grinding for in-game money and XP. This build also lacks many of the prerequisites needed for the Touch Grass achievement, making it unviable for a 100% completion run. The recent nerfs to the classic and well-established builds in the game have led to a recent rise in popularity of the pacifist build, especially the subclass of the Dream Stand build. On the topic of the Dream Stand subclass, this class is renowned for being one of the only builds in the game that does not have a father figure buff. All in all, the recent rise in popularity of the pacifist builds are hurting the game's player base, and nowhere is that more apparent than on the American servers. It is my hope that the player base decides to go back to classic builds such as the Monkey Entrepreneur build or the Car Factory Worker build.